Yo, peace. Asharenu. Introduction to the occult, blasphemy, and Baphomet magic. Let's get it. The occult, in a nutshell, is gaining a vast understanding of reality as a whole. For example, when you are observing an external situation, for example, an animal, you don't want to just look at the animal. You want to observe the ideas and the concepts attached to that particular animal. Some animals represent self-discipline. Some animals represent organization. Some animals represent creativity, feminine energy, masculine energy, whatever the case is. So when you identify the idea or the concept the animal or the external situation represents, you want to bridge a gap between that idea, that concept, and yourself. So you ask yourself, how can I become more creative? How can I become more organized? How can I become more self-disciplined, more masculine, more feminine, whatever the case may be? And when you ask yourself these questions, you become the idea or the symbol of whatever the concept is. That's the whole point of anything external, any symbol, any idea, any concept that you can observe externally can potentially help you become the idea or the concept yourself. So you become the living symbol of those ideas. So now you bridge the gap between the outward world and your internal world. And that's what enlightenment is, where you can look at something outside of you, gain concepts, gain ideas from it, and become these symbols, these concepts, these ideas, so that now you're a walking symbol of self-discipline, creativity, masculine energy, feminine energy. That's who and what you are. That's what you become. That's what you are. Or on the other hand, you can allow your ego to get in the way and become stagnant. Oh, I don't need that. I don't need to be more disciplined. I'm good where I am. Anything stagnant, anything not moving dies. It's not alive. Now, let's get into blasphemy and Baphomet magic. When we talk about Baphomet or the devil or anything sinister, the reason these ideas and concepts are sinister because whenever we speak about dark energy, whenever we think about dark energy, whenever we think about occult concepts, esoteric concepts, and why they're not popular in mainstream America, because this is what the real power is. For example, if you were all about love and light, world peace, you want to become a hero, you want to become a savior, everybody's with you. Nobody's going to go against that, right? On the outside. Who's going to go against you trying to make the world a better place, right? So when you internalize these ideas and concepts, you got the whole world on your side. You got plenty of people that want to support you. But the moment you say, I want to save myself, I want to become self-sufficient, I want to do my own thing, I want to tap into these darker powers, everybody makes a 180 and now they're your enemies. Anybody in the occult has seen this happen firsthand. You may have been a part of a religion, an organization, a fraternity, whatever the case is, and whatever ideas and concepts they hold, everybody's good because everybody's on the same page. The moment you come with some different shit, the moment you come with some out-of-the-box shit, they become your enemies. So you start to ask yourself, even though in your heart you feel like this will actually help people, but they don't want to hear that shit. So because they don't want to hear that shit, they will outcast you because you're viewed as an enemy now. However, in your heart of hearts, you know that this is something you need to do. This is the path you need to walk. So now you have to separate yourself from these people. You have to trim off the fat and you become self-sufficient. You become someone who is about saving themselves and going to the next level spiritually. And you're not worried about nobody else. If they want to help themselves, you can help them help themselves, but you're not going around trying to save the world anymore. You become more about yourself. And these type of people are viewed as very dark, negative people because these people are viewed as arrogant. They're viewed as assholes. They're viewed as, oh, they got big egos. You know what I mean? Because we associate these concepts and these ideas with the Illuminati, you know, with Satan, with Satanists, Luciferians, anything like that. And because the mass majority of the people have no knowledge and understanding of what these concepts truly mean, now you start to deal with people's fears and insecurities. You walk up to somebody and you have Jesus on your shirt, you have God on your shirt, whatever the concept of God is, everybody's with you. Everybody's your cheerleader. Everybody does it like, okay, we're good with that. We love you. You walk around with a motherfucking devil on your chest, you will literally see people don't want nothing to do with you. Like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Why are you rocking that? People ask you all kind of questions. What does that mean? because now you're dealing with who people really are. See, everybody's cool when it's about love and light, but when it's about some dark shit, when it's about some real shit, people get very uncomfortable because they don't have no experience with that. And you start to see that a true imbalance is taking place. There is no real balance. There is no real balance when you all about the light and you neglect the dark. There is no real balance. So because these people are really imbalanced, you bring forth these fears and insecurities, and in turn, you two, or whoever it is, become enemies because they feel like you're the problem now. They feel like, oh, this is why the world is fucked up. These are, the criminals or the underworld, the underground, or, people that isn't liked by the masses. They look at you as the problem. They're not looking at themselves, their own fears and their own insecurities and their own misunderstandings of what you represent as a problem. They look at you as a problem, so they outcast you. So when you start to realize, it's like, know what? At first, I thought these people were here to help me, but they really were holding me back because they are imbalanced. Because these people are really imbalanced, they were holding you back, and you were becoming more and more imbalanced, because it was a collective consciousness instead of a self-consciousness. So when you move from a collective consciousness to a self-consciousness, you become public enemy number one. And now, by you moving from the collective consciousness to the self-consciousness, you start to realize that your magical workings actually start to give you better results. Because everybody want money, everybody want relationships, these material things, these spiritual things. But it's really hard to get these things when you're imbalanced, when you're only working with light, when you're only working with angels, when you're only working with God or whatever you feel God is. It's an imbalance. So when you start to work with the devil, when you start to work with Baphomet, when you start to work with demons, you start to see that they're more than willing to help you get to the next level, because it's all internal. It's all an internal process. It's what's going on within your own mind that starts to activate, and that starts to change your outward reality. So when you actually start to get more results than you ever got before, you start to see why this has been hitting, why people hate this, because you're really tapping into a live source of energy that really works. Now people become jealous of you. People become envious of you because they've been doing shit 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever, not really getting any results, just getting little pennies and shit. Now you getting $100 bills, and it's not that you're doing something special. You're just more balanced. And because you're more balanced, you get better results. And again, this brings out the fears and insecurities of people because they're not getting the same thing, because they're not initiated into the occult. You don't need to be a part of no order. You just have to have a certain state of mind. And when you have this certain state of mind, you can get way further than you ever could being imbalanced. So this is just a quick introduction as to why these concepts are so dark and so sinister. It's really a misunderstanding. There is nothing really light. There is nothing really dark. Energy is energy. Cannot be created or destroyed, just manipulated. So that's what it is. We're going to keep this shit going. Talk to y'all soon. Peace, hotel. Get at me.